I sit here with you right now, I just want you to know I never want to hear about another freaking competition. No more competing. You can keep that body in shape. No more competitions.
James, we're gonna make a movie about you, dog. Your biggest comeback in history.
Yes.
Okay? Simple as that. It's gonna be the biggest comeback in history. I'm trying to tell you. You walking, bro. You walking. I don't think you're supposed to be walking right now. I'm pretty sure it's pretty fast.
This is incredibly fast.
People use it like they taking drugs. In the morning when they waking up, this music got me out late, but I holler at you when I'm done. Don't stay up. With love, play with us. This thing like paper cuts. It's an alcohol, but if it's real, there ain't no way to rush it. I got faith in us. You don't really know me. I be surrounded by people who know me.
Tristan, don't try this shit. I see you bust your ass, I'm gonna laugh. Well, make sure you're okay first.
You know, I'm gonna try it just because you told me not to try it.
Hey, Roy, let me see your big ass try this shit. Yeah, I'm gonna watch you bust your ass.
I can do that.
Y'all try that at home. If you fall and bust your ass, you can't sue me. Woo! 1 week left, baby.
I got you.
All right.
What?
So one thing about me, because of my sickle cell, my rest is usually longer. So sometimes it's 2 minutes, which is the maximum hypertrophy. Sometimes 3 or 4. So I gotta let my heart rate slow down. Because sickle cells are oxygen-based disease.
I was gonna say, explain to everybody like what sickle cell is.
Let me turn this music down. I'm diagnosed with what's called sickle cell beta thalassemia, which is the combination of having just the sickle cell gene and trait with basically a messed up hemoglobin state, which is, I believe, like 5% of people with sickle cell disease have what I have. So when it comes to exercise, I'm great at slow-paced workouts. Lifting weights is great because it doesn't maximize my heart rate as much. So like right now, since I did that superset, my heart rate's a little up. So right now, I wait for my heart rate to drive down so I don't have to risk any of my cells being stuck, because anytime your heart rate increases, your oxygen has to increase, which means your red blood cells have to multiply. With sickle cell, our red blood cells are shaped like a crater. So therefore, when we get into what's called a crisis, it means one of those crater-sized red blood cells got stuck, which basically causes a traffic jam of blood flow and oxygen. When your oxygen levels drops, your body basically shuts down. So with lifting weights, it's not a problem. In the Marine Corps, before they discovered I had it, I was fine with things having to do with lifting or fighting and stuff like that, but when we had to run, we noticed complications. I would run 3 miles in 26, 27 minutes rather than killing 3 miles in 19 or 21 minutes. So, because when you run, the body requires a lot more oxygen, and it pumps more red blood cells into your system, which your red blood cells carry oxygen throughout your body. So therefore, when I do cardio, or I even do HIIT cardio, I have to progress myself to go into it. Also, I take a medication called hydroxyurea, which is basically chemotherapy in a pill. So it keeps my red blood cells from growing, which allows them to be flexible throughout my body. So my training methods are a little different. They they're a lot longer because of that.
Right.
So, y'all gonna keep rocking with me a little bit. So I'm gonna hit the second set.
Yeah. So what's the motivation for getting back on stage?
Oh man, there's a couple of things that have motivated me. One is like the mission wasn't accomplished. I did national show I did. Y'all gotta forgive me. The medication jacked my memory up. Was North Americans, and I think I placed 7th. And if I was dry, I would have placed higher. So I felt like the following year was going to be my year before everything happened. And,
Well, what happened? Because everybody else don't know.
That's right. I don't know what happened. So a month after my competition, I basically had a sickle cell crisis working at my nightclub in D.C. After 3 days being in the hospital, when I finally got into a room, which if you ever get sick in D.C., try getting to Maryland. Do not get sick in D.C. You'll be in the emergency room waiting for about 24 hours. But when I finally got to my room, 3 days later, I had 90% respiratory failure and my lungs collapsed. Long story short, I was placed in a medically induced coma, flatlined twice while in the coma. I was also, turned to find out I was down with sepsis. Sepsis is blood poisoning, so my body was fighting 2 major diseases all at the same time. So it was fighting the sickle cell, and the white blood cells were trying to fight off the sickle cell, and some white blood cells were trying to fight off the sepsis, which consequently I had to do plasma transfusions. Either the plasma transfusion or the blood transfusion. One of them was a bad batch. That almost killed me. Contracted staph while I was in there. You name it, it all happened. Consequently, lost 55 pounds of muscle. Woke up out my coma on the 7th or 8th day. Finally got into rehab. I had to learn how to walk again because the sepsis settled in my hip and basically was destroying the posterior part of my bone in my hip. So I had to learn how to walk again. Went back into the hospital, had another sickle cell crisis and pneumonia this time. So spent another 3 days in the hospital, had another blood transfusion. Went back to rehab. And then the story, once I got home, is that's when it really got deep. So the second thing that motivated me is when I came out of my coma, I was told I would never compete again. Or people were on my Facebook saying, bodybuilding is bad for you. You shouldn't bodybuild. You shouldn't compete. But the doctors told me the only reason I survived was because of how much muscle I had and how in shape I was. And if I wasn't in shape or didn't have the muscle, I would have died. So in essence, to me, bodybuilding saved my life. So
That's what's up. That's what's up. So what's the show that we're competing for?
So, man, we're doing the show where I actually met my brother who's behind the camera at, which is the Gladiator, which is the first contest in the state of Maryland. Basically, it's the opening day for bodybuilding season. I did this show, damn, Tristan, how long has it been, 4 or 5 years now?
About 3, yeah, about 4 years now.
Shit.
Yeah.
First time I did this show, I actually almost quit bodybuilding. I did such a poor job. And actually that year, we had Phil Heath there. Phil Heath was the guest poser. And I just happened to be standing there. I was actually about to leave. And I met this gentleman behind the camera. We just started vibing and talking. Turns to find out we're from the same neck of the woods in New York. And we just bonded. And he's like, man, why don't you wait in line with me? Wait and see Phil. And I'm like, man, look at this long ass line. He's like, come on, man. So we stayed in line, we waited. And we get to Phil. And remember, Phil took forever to talk to us. People were getting mad. And he showed us the picture of his shoes. He said, but I went to Olympia, I'm going to rock these custom-made Jordans.
He talked to us about almost 30 minutes.
Yeah, he did. And, he asked me how my show went, and I was telling him what happened, and I was about to give up because I didn't feel like I was right for the sport. And, man, he inspired me to stay in the sport. So, long story short, I won my first show 2 months later, which was Maryland East Coast Classic. I won Masters. But so now we're going back to this show, opening day, like I said, for bodybuilding season. I've always wanted to win this show, and this is going to be a test to see where I'm at. It's going to be a homecoming for myself to be back on stage, and I'm excited, I'm nervous, because you don't never know what your body looks like. A lot of people told me my body has changed based off of that, and I just want to go out there and kill it, man. I actually feel like, I actually preparing for a national show, not a amateur show. But you know what? You got to crawl before you can walk. So this is my call. What do you want to move today? All right, so we're not gonna fake the funk like some people do in their videos. If you follow me on Facebook, you know one thing I don't do is fake anything. This is actually kind of surreal.
Why is that?
This time last year, I couldn't stand being in the gym. I didn't want to be in the gym. You ever see an interview with Rock?
Which one?
When he talked about his depression with Oprah Winfrey?
Yeah?
That shit is real. That shit is so real. 4 to 5 months, I had to convince myself to stay alive. Not commit suicide. Not do something dumb. And leave my sons here. Being a full-time dad, I got a lot of responsibilities. When you go in such of a dark place, that darkness is scary. And it can overcome you. It's been pretty nice. So I parked on the side of the road somewhere. Like, all right, we can just finish this real quick. You work so hard for something, you come home, you look in the mirror, you don't recognize yourself. And then you have like a remorse, like you ask God why he spared you when there's other people he could have spared and let live that whose families really needed them. And then, a lot of bullshit in my personal life. You find out who's really, really, really about you when you hit rock bottom. Who's not there just because of the facade of modeling and bodybuilding and dancing and burlesque shows. You find out who really got your back. And a lot of nice crying, a lot of nice cursing God out, And to be here where I'm at now today, it's amazing, I lost my dad in November, a year after I came home. So I keep him in his cross, his ashes are in his cross, so he's always with me.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supposed to say music lover, but they engraved it wrong. My dad loved music. So if you ever follow me on Instagram or Facebook, I'm always listening to various different forms of music.
Yeah, you are.
It might be Queen one day, and it might be DMX the next day. So you'll be confused on who I am. But you gotta keep fighting, man. You can't let life beat you down. My favorite quote is from the movie Balboa. It's not how hard you can hit, but how hard you can get hit. Keep moving forward. And that's life. Nothing hits harder than life. Remember that shit.
In third place is James Allen.
What?
Runner-up in second place, one.
Great job, guys. Please turn to the right, bow towards Tony.
All right, at third place trophy in the men's physique E class, 138 Everett Shipments. Runner-up in second place, 85 Revis Martin. That means your winner is number 98, James Allen.
Woo!
Gentlemen, hold those swords up for us, please. Congratulations, James, and all our competitors. James, we'll see you back out here shortly.
So I represent all the sickle cell warriors out there. So I'm not just doing this for me, I'm doing it for all of us. All right, let's go get this work.